It's not age that dulls attractiveness. It's unconscious habits. With this direct truth, we begin today. In less than 10 minutes, you'll discover the 3 silent mistakes that cause many older men to automatically lose the respect and attraction of younger women. Mistakes that have nothing to do with your age, but with your attitude, your energy, and your way of being in the world. We're not going to talk about magic formulas here, but rather about real awareness and self-control based on social psychology and modern Stoicism. Stay with me until the end, because after this episode, you'll know exactly what to avoid and how to keep your courage intact. Ready to play at another level? Let's get started. One of the most common mistakes older men make when interacting with younger women is boasting about their experience or believing themselves superior simply because they are older. Although it may seem natural to want to share knowledge or protect based on experience, this gesture is often perceived as condescension or arrogance, and far from bringing people closer, it immediately creates distance. Phrases like, "You are too young to understand," or "When you're my age, you'll see it differently." They don't build admiration, they build an invisible barrier. These expressions, although sometimes well-intentioned, convey a message of emotional inequality. I'm up, you're down. And no healthy and true connection can be born from that dynamic of superiority. From the perspective of Stoicism, we understand that true wisdom does not need to be proclaimed or imposed. It is shown by example, with calm and humility. The man who has truly learned from life does not feel the need to constantly remind others how much he knows. Just let his calm demeanor and his manner speak for himself, because true respect is not demanded, it is inspired. A young woman is looking for more than a teacher who will give her lessons, a companion who will add value without obscuring her worldview, someone who can listen without judging, accompany without directing, and share without imposing. When an older man achieves this, he becomes not only attractive, but also deeply respected and desired, because he represents maturity without authoritarianism. Boasting about experience, even if not explicitly stated, is also reflected in attitudes. Constantly correcting, dismissing her opinions, or automatically assuming you know more about her life than she does. These gestures not only push her away, but also break any possibility of creating a connection based on mutual respect and admiration. So the next time you're tempted to show off how much you know or how much you've lived, remember, real knowledge is felt, not imposed. True greatness is conveyed in the quiet and serene way in which one treats others as equals, not as a forced apprentice. One of the attitudes that most quickly extinguishes any type of attraction is showing emotional need or desperation. And this is not always expressed in direct words. It is often felt in the energy, in body language, in small gestures that convey anxiety, insecurity, or a constant search for validation. When an older man shows neediness in front of a younger woman, it automatically changes the dynamic. It stops being a symbol of stability and becomes an emotional burden. Small actions like sending too many messages, constantly seeking your attention, asking if everything is okay when you haven't responded immediately, or overdoing praise in an attempt to please. They are clear signs of need. From emotional psychology, we know that what one pursues too much usually escapes, and excessive need does not generate attraction. It generates discomfort because it conveys the idea of an inner emptiness that someone else should fill. From Stoicism, we learn that the man of worth does not pursue or beg. He remains serene, focused on his own purpose, sharing his presence freely and generously, but without begging for affection. Emotional self-sufficiency, knowing that you're okay with yourself, whether you're in a relationship or not, is one of the most magnetic traits a man can have. And paradoxically, the less you need, the more you attract. A young woman senses immediately when a man vibrates from need. He may not understand it on a rational level, but he senses it. Notice the difference between someone who comes to share and someone who comes to fill a void. And even if she may be kind or polite, her genuine interest diminishes when she perceives that someone is emotionally dependent on her attention to feel valuable. Appearing desperate can also lead to tolerating unhealthy dynamics, accepting disrespect, compromising your principles, or emotionally overinvesting in someone who barely reciprocates. From a Stoic perspective, these attitudes are not only unnecessary, but harmful to your peace and dignity. Self-respect is not negotiable, and those who sacrifice it for affection end up losing both. So, remember, don't seek to be needed, seek to be chosen, not because you crave attention, but because your presence is so complete, so calm, and so authentic that whoever is truly worthwhile will naturally want to approach you without you needing to pursue them. Another silent but devastating mistake many older men make is trying to imitate younger women in their dress, speech, or behavior. In their attempt to appear more accessible or modern, they fall into a caricature of themselves, losing the authenticity that could have been their greatest appeal. When a man acts outside his essence to adapt to a style that doesn't suit him, what he conveys is not youth, but insecurity. From a social psychology perspective, we know that authenticity is one of the most compelling traits a person can display, regardless of age. It's not your clothes or your slang that connects with a young woman. It's your ability to stay true to who you are, to be a man who is comfortable in his own skin. When you try to force an image that is not natural for you, she detects it immediately. It doesn't look spontaneous. It feels like a mask. Dressing like a teenager, using expressions that don't belong to you, or trying to participate in trends you don't really understand doesn't make you seem more relatable. It makes you seem disconnected from your true center. From Stoicism, we understand that fully accepting the moment you are in your life is a form of strength. Each stage has its beauty, its power, and its respect. Pretending to be something you are no longer is not only futile, it is a silent act of self-abandonment. A young woman doesn't look for an imitator of her generation. She looks for a role model, someone who can offer maturity, serenity, and perspective. She wants someone who respects her youth without having to compete with her. And that is only achieved by being yourself, walking with dignity in your own life moment. So remember, don't try to get down into their world to make them like you. Invite her with your authenticity to admire the calm confidence of a man who doesn't need to pretend anything. Because in the silent confidence of those who fully accept themselves, there is a magnetism that no fashion or trend can match. Today we understood together that it's not your age that makes you less attractive, but how you manage your energy, your authenticity, and your inner security. That boasting, showing need, or trying to imitate a youth that no longer corresponds to anything is just a joke, while calm, authenticity, and self-respect naturally attract. From Stoicism, we learn that true courage does not need to shout or disguise itself. It simply sustains itself in silence, in presence, in congruence. Now I want to know from you what resonated most with you in this episode, and what aspect you feel you could work on more to strengthen your authentic presence. Leave your answer in the comments, and if you made it this far, show that you're part of this community of consciousness by writing Calm Philosophy. Thank you for listening, for watching, and for choosing to grow. See you in the next episode.